Hi everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're taking a look at from the Transformers War for Cybertron Siege line. This is Deluxe Class Barricade. Barricade is a Generations Classics interpretation of the movie Decepticon character, and I gotta say, it comes off really well. It is obviously using the traditional, well, I shouldn't say traditional, but the Siege Prowl mold, which we have looked at 3 times already. This particular instance, I would say, is a direct repaint of the Generation Selects Smokescreen, which we just looked at. The only difference being, instead of having the extra blaster, he does come with a light bar. And this is a really nice looking figure. I'm not sure how well it's coming out over on the camera, but you have a black here on the side with some gunmetal gray highlights here on top, and this really nice neon purple. Now, if you want to take a look at these shoulder guns, they're actually gray mixed with that neon purple, and I think it looks great. I really can't get over how great it really looks. You have some Cybertronian text here on the side, a little splash of white. Probably says to punish and enslave. And what's really cool is the battle damage is done with a dry brushing of just straight silver, and it really does come off looking scuffed. I mean, this is a beautiful looking Transformer, and for those of you longtime viewers, you really don't hear me go into the deco that much, but this is a beautiful looking figure, and I really enjoy it. And spoilers, that grayish lavender purple is used for most of the joints in robot mode. Now, as I mentioned, this is basically a straight repaint of the Generation Selects Smokescreen, the difference being the light bar and the gun. You know, I mean, I've made my issues out of it already, why figures that cost the same amount can't come with the same accessories. I really think Barricade is missing out not coming with the laser rifle, especially when the vintage throwback artwork showed the figure with the shoulder cannons and a laser rifle handgun type of deal. But you know, I mean, in vehicle mode, there's not really that much of a difference except the color between these two, since you know, they are basically the same mold. In fact, they even share the same head, which I find kind of interesting. But just really can't get over just how great Barricade looks. So we'll pause. I'm going to skip the transformation since we've seen it a few times already, and we'll take a look at the figure in robot mode. Okay, and here's Barricade in its robot mode. And right before I get into any of the robot details, 2 things I want to point out. Somebody did mention in the comments of my Smokescreen video review that it's Blue Streak's video, I had these little nubs facing out, and as you can see, I have them facing out again. And realistically, I went and checked, and the instructions do show the nubs facing out in that direction. I mean, ultimately, it's your choice what you want to do. Also, and I'm going to bring in Blue Streak to show this off, I actually found out you can push the shoulder guns down much more into the chest, and they actually hold a lot better. Basically, what you do is you just come up underneath here and press down, and they'll just sink right in, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I don't know if that's any type of warping of the plastic going on. I kind of hope not, but you know, it is there. And of course, with these shoulder guns, you can do the combination and have them have a Barricade hold it as a blaster. You can hold each gun separately. It's up to you. But I do wish that a second handgun was included, and of course, you can do a lot of the interplay with the light bar that we saw with Prowl and Red Alert. You know, the Siege line, I have to say, when it comes to the modular nature of the weapons, is fantastic. Now, coming in real quick here is Smokescreen in its robot mode, and you can see same heads, just a different paint scheme, different detailing picked out. I love that lavender mixed with the gray. Really gives it's a nice little touch. You barely notice it, but it really just makes the parts stand out. And this is the fourth use of this mold. This is the tightest of any of the other uses in terms of the joints. In fact, some parts I would say might be a little too tight, but that's okay. So again, I have to tip my hat to Hasbro. With the increase in price with the War for Cybertron Siege line, I have noticed an increase in quality. And none of these figures, in terms of a tactile feel, are bad. They're not loose, they're not floppy. It's great. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to respond, or somebody out there is going to say they got a Barricade or a Smokescreen or a Blue Streak that's a floppy mess. But I've bought 4 different versions of this mold, and usually in the past, when I there's a figure that's used the mold that many times, one of the versions is always going to be a little off, and I don't have that here. Articulation is the same. I mean, just giving you a full 360. I think overall I still like Smokescreen a little more, but that just has to do with the fact I prefer the color blue, but I can't get over just how great Barricade looks. And let's give you a closer look at the heads there. Same heads. You know, I mean, I understand I would have preferred Smokescreen having a little bit of a lighter, more jovial looking face, but I understand they had to keep it like that because it was going to be used for Barricade. But just for sake of comparison, here's Prowl, the original use of the mold, and you can see just, you know, how they compare. One's a police officer for good, the other one is a Cybertronian police officer for bad. So all that is there. And you know, with each subsequent release, Prowl is great. I mean, Prowl's a great character, but I just like the designs and the work put in with all the other figures that have come out. And just for completion's sake, so you can say I did it, here's Blue Streak. And like I said, this is the 4th use of the mold. I'll go for a 5th use if in the Generation Selects line we get a blue streak, because if they can do it as nicely as they did Barricade, that's going to be one of the best looking retail release action figures ever. So here you go with the shoulder guns and the back. It really is just a great mold. And you know, I mean, the Seeker mold, yeah, I was getting a little tired of it when, you know, Skywarp came out. But this, you know, I think just because it's a little simpler, there's more fun to the transformation, I really don't mind it. So, nothing really more to say there. We'll just pause, and I'll give you my final thoughts. I'm sure by now you know that I'm just going to say this is a fantastic figure and you should buy it. But yeah, it really is. Especially if, you know, you're someone who doesn't buy exclusives or store exclusives because they're kind of hard to get. This is a retail release, so wherever you shop, you should be able to find it. So this will be your second experience with the Cybertronian Datsun Brother mold. So definitely it's worth a pickup. A great looking figure. I got it off of Amazon, and it's kind of interesting. Early Friday morning, I'm recording this on a Monday, so it was the previous Friday. The figure all of a sudden came in stock on Amazon, sold out quickly, but Amazon was letting you order it, and they would ship it as soon as they got it. So I did that, and basically by Saturday I got a ship notice, and I had it Sunday. So They are coming in and out very quickly, so if you can order it off Amazon, go ahead. If not, it should be showing up in retail sooner or later. I'm pretty sure it's part of the same wave as Impactor and Mirage, so definitely it's worth a pickup. Great looking figure. This is your old pal Chuck for Barricade. We will see you next time.